Hi everyone, this is week number 15 of Memorizing the Scriptures. This is for the verse found in John chapter 21, verse 12. And the context, we can see that Jesus was resurrected and then he appeared to the disciples. And in this chapter, it's basically in the subtitle saying that Jesus gets to seven of the disciples, and so while Peter and his brother, Peter says, "I'm gonna go fishing," so from the distance they could see Jesus, and of course between themselves they were, "Oh, look, he's the Lord," and just imagining the scene there, and I presume that Peter was quite ashamed, because if you remember about Peter denying Jesus when Jesus was being crucified, so Peter denied him 3 times, so I presume like it maybe was, I just try to understand, like, how would that be the situation, like, for the disciples being there, and because then it goes, Jesus would get closer to them and basically to tell them similar words about from the one of the first times that they met, about getting the nets on the waters and catching lots of fish. So it would be very similar this time, because they got a lot of fish and they were kind of preparing the food. So in this verse, because it was in the morning, so Jesus said, I'm just trying to, because it's exciting to kind of see the picture of it, because it reminds me to I will tell you later, but the verse says that Jesus said to them, "Now come and have breakfast." Jesus said to them, and none of the disciples wanted to ask him, "Who are you?" They knew he was the Lord. So that makes me think about when I was naughty, when I was young, and my parents would be like, if they would be, if I behave boldly, and then my parents would be, they would correct me, and then it would be uncomfortable, to look at them again, especially if you needed to eat. So sitting at the table, because my parents would be like, "Oh, okay, Maren, come to get your dinner or get the lunch," and for me it was like, I would be like, oh, a bit, that kind of shame maybe. So I presume that was similar feeling maybe with the disciples, especially with Peter. But like Jesus is just naturally acting, naturally, just being there and telling you, come and have breakfast. We saw in the previous verses about that he is the living water, and eternal source of refreshment, I would say, or having the waters, and this time referring to the breakfast. So it's a special time of the day as well. Like, breakfast is very important, and Jesus calling us. I would use this verse like that he is referring it to me too, and telling me, "Maren, come have some breakfast," because sometimes for myself, like, as well, I usually delay my breakfast because I'm thinking of something else. I just do work, and then it's very late in the morning and I didn't have my breakfast. So those kind of scenarios maybe, but at the same time spiritually as well, he would be like, come and have some breakfast and get filled with my word, get filled with the Holy Spirit. So that's my reflection of this week. It is, I find this side like funny in the sense that of my my own experience with my parents maybe, but also with this gentleness of Jesus, because he did the worst part, and he gave his own life. So for me is recognizing that sacrifice, and don't feel too guilty, because for me as well, like sometimes I can be very hard on myself, that I shouldn't be feeling in a certain way or doing certain things, and it could be like good things, but somehow I still get distracted and still get like not focusing on God, and being more into, oh no, but this is my job, or this is something that I should do, like I put pressure on myself too. But no, I think God is so loving and good, but Jesus took the worst. Jesus took the crucifixion, and it's done. It's just accepting it and just trust him that he's gonna do his work in your life, so yeah, this is an encouragement for anybody who is listening. It's not always easy, and that's something I say to myself. I tell to myself that although I know that things can get hard, but I need to let it go and let Jesus work on it. Jesus is a perfect, like, is example, and just trust in in the way that he was when he was here on earth, and the Holy Spirit will give us the conviction, and the Holy Spirit will guide us in every step. But Jesus, as he was the perfect example, that he was tempted to earthly, like things from the world, things very human. So he understands us completely. So I don't know in which position you are at. You might know about Christianity, or maybe not very well, or maybe you are quite new. But I would think about being much more intentional as well. If you really want to do something different, start with something, but do a start. Don't leave it for maybe a random day where you actually feel the full motivation. I think if you at least start with something small, just be persistent. For some people it can be much more radical, but there could be sometimes where we will need to process things and take some time. But it's better to start somewhere than not actually do anything. So yeah, I hope you have a blessed week, and I will see you in the next video.